Greetings, I'm Ray with theorists Labs, where we disassemble our favorite media, and today we're going to talk about why we think Henry is in Golden Freddy. Would you like to know a secret? So, if you go to this video, Nightmare Fredbear voice lines, and you scroll down to this comment, I swear he has 3 different voices. There are a lot of replies, and one of those replies, made 2 years ago with one upvote, which is how I know that it's still a secret as of making this video, is I can tell you definitively there are 4. This comment is from the official account of Zach Hoffman, who is the voice actor for Nightmare Fredbear. To me, this means there are more spirits than we thought in Golden Freddy. So, with that in mind, I'll play the lines for you. I think we can identify each of the 4 voices. There's a deep, scary voice, a whispery voice, this one's hardest to hear, but sometimes it lags behind the others, an adult male voice, and a squeaky little girl's voice. Have a listen.
Let me put you back together, then take you apart all over again. Let's see how many times you can be pulled apart. I assure you, I am very real. This time, there is more than an illusion to fear. We know who our friends are, and you are not one of them.
When the vengeful spirit whispers behind Ned Bear, Happy Frog, and Orville's lines in Ultimate Custom Night, we can still hear the voice of the animatronics. That's why I think the scary voice could just be Nightmare Fredbear, the animatronic, rather than a spirit. But that still means there's a minimum of 3 spirits in Golden Freddy, and a maximum of 4. I have ideas about each of the spirits, but for this video, I'm going to focus on 2 of them. They're the ones we see associated with Golden Freddy all the time. That's the adult man and the little girl. And I'm going to call these spirits Old Man and Cassidy. We see these spirits interacting in several scenes. How can they do that if they aren't haunting the same space? The first time we hear these 2 spirits speak is all the way back in FNAF 1. Golden Freddy has a little girl's laugh. This is Cassidy. On the Night 4 phone call, we hear Golden Freddy's jump scare killing phone guy. And then Night 5 is garbled, but if you clean it up, it's an adult man reciting autobiography of a yogi. So, here's Old Man's voice again, and the text. It's from a passage about a scientist who is doing experiments with plants and metal.
Agricultural development is speeded by full use of your marvelous mechanism. Would it not be easily possible to employ them in quick laboratory experiments to indicate the influence of various relies on plants? Bro, you're right. You will be made by shooting a radar nose and bring you the joy of creating.
The last line is, the scientist seldom knows contemporaneous reward. It is enough to possess the joy of creative service. In other words, this scientist won't see the benefits of his work within his lifetime. Being a creator is enough for him. This leads me to think that the male spirit in Golden Freddy is also one of the creators of the animatronics. We see Old Man again in FNAF World, Ultimate Custom Night, and Princess Quest. He doesn't have a lot of lines, so we'll just talk about them briefly. In Princess Quest 2, here he is with Cassidy at the beginning. He says, "You are alive. That is good. Take the Sword of Light and go." After she completes her quest, he's there at the end. He says, "Congratulations, your quest is done. Time to sleep." So he's telling us to sleep, or to rest. Here he is in Ultimate Custom Night. He says, "Come and sit with me a while. Leave the demon to his demons. Rest your own soul. There is nothing else." He talks about demons and is telling us to rest again. So what adult male character also wants to sleep or rest, wants to leave William's punishment to hell, is one of the creators, and used to spend all his time in the Fredbear costume? It's got to be Henry. Henry says in his final speech, "Don't keep the devil waiting," and it's time to rest for you and for those you have carried in your arms. He also mentions being unable to rest himself until he's able to do this. It keeps me awake at night. I could make myself sleep, but not yet. Henry and William worked together for years as Spring Bonnie and Fredbear. They are their personas, their furry OCs. If William is going to spend his afterlife as his persona, narratively, it makes sense that at least one of the spirits in Golden Freddy is his old partner and nemesis. Let's talk about whether Henry is still alive in Pizza Simulator or not. We never see Henry. Henry does talk, but something bad still could have happened to him. Mike is there. Mike got scooped. Elizabeth talks. She got circus babied. William talks to us. He still got spring locked. There's debate over whether this scene from FNAF World shows Henry's death. I think it does, but there's also a hidden line of dialogue here that we haven't heard anyone talk about. It's this part here. Angel will play it for you, and you can give it a listen and see what you think.
Before we listen to this piece of audio, I want to quickly mention a phenomenon known as Paradolia, which is where our brains seek patterns in places where there potentially is none. The best examples are a tendency to see faces in things like plug sockets, the moon, or clouds. This applies to audio too, and there is a proven tendency to be able to hear things we are primed to hear. This happened often in the satanic panic phenomenon, where backwards music was purported to have hidden messages. If I played you this audio with a subtitle over it, you would most likely hear what I hear in it. This wouldn't be in line with what you might hear listening blind. We tested this by asking a subset of our non-FNAF friends to listen to it blind, and they all heard vastly different things. So, we'll play it for you first of all without any subtitles or anything to change what you might hear. Listen to it and see what you think you hear, and then we'll mention what we think it might be. See if it's different from what you heard.
It's very similar to Fredbear's voice from Ultimate Custom Night. We think the first part sounds like again and again and again, but we're not sure about the second part. We think it might be something like until he has all the pieces, or we can restore all the pieces. Here's Fredbear's voice for comparison. And if this is Henry, there's a little bear, we see the Fredbear eyes, and we potentially hear Fredbear's voice as well. There's also the question, can multiple souls be in the same entity? And the answer is yes. We know this is the case. All the kids' souls end up in Golden Freddy. Jake, Andrew, and William all inhabit the Stitch Wraith. Jessica and Brittany from Together Forever both haunt Rosie Porkchop. So definitely more than one spirit can haunt the same object. And even if you have different objects haunted by different spirits, you can combine the objects for the same result. You also don't have to die in an object to haunt it. Charlotte dies next to the puppet, and Jake dies in his bed, but still possesses the Simon doll, who is in a cabinet. So, can 3 or 4 spirits be in Golden Freddy? Yes, very easily, as long as all of them have either died in or next to the same object, or they were originally possessing different objects, but those objects were combined. As we see with Jake, Andrew, and William, spirits can also break off from that combined entity and go off to do their own thing. So it's possible that later in the story, that happened with Golden Freddy as well. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the program, activate our like button. Farewell, and until next time.